Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another edition of Jay's Latest. I am your host, Craig Borden, and let's just hit up to a plate, I guess, because last night was a rough one for the Toronto Blue Jays as the key word here escalated quickly. Blue Jays were ahead for the majority of this game. Well, not majority, I guess. I just tied for this game for the majority of it. But they were able to go into the eighth inning and take the lead. So this game started off with a little bit of offense really quickly in the beginning with George Springer knocking a home run, and it was a nice one. This is a laser. He did a great job. It was looking like the Springer of old would be the key word, right? That's the big thing that we've been getting from George Springer. But we'll get to George Springer and focus on him in a few minutes here. So he opens up the scoring with him and Vladdy, single from Vladdy, eventually leads to a two-run home run by George Springer. In the bottom half of the inning, though, Taylor Ward comes up to the plate and actually hits another home run with Zach Neto on base, puts the game tied 2-2. It stayed that way for eternity. So the Blue Jays finally come back up to the plate, and Anthony Santander hits a home run in the eighth inning, puts the Blue Jays on top for that very, very brief piece there. And it came down to obviously the bullpen. Santander, that was his fifth home run of the season, and it was probably a home run in most ballparks, but it was nice to see him get under one and really take it over the right field wall. So very cool. Blue Jays, like I said, scattered 9 hits. Springer with two of those. Kirky also with two of them. But pitching wise, let's just talk about starting pitching before we dive into the mess that was our bullpen last night. So Jose Urena joins the Blue Jays, his not major league debut. He was with the Mets early this season. Blue Jays debut, and he looked pretty good outside that Taylor Ward home run. Basically, the only blemish on his outing last night is he only allowed 4 hits otherwise, and 2 of those were, like I said, right off the bat in the beginning of the game. It was very encouraging to see somebody step into the Blue Jays, what has been our bullpen spot. He threw 4 and a third, like I said, only with the 4 hits, 2 earned runs on that home run, but he got a walk and a strike, 2 strikeouts as well. So really nice to see. But like I mentioned, eventually, even with all the best Blue Jays debuts in hand, the better parts of our bullpen was what suffered last night. After we got shutdown performances from Chad Green, Mason Fluharty, and Dylan Tate, the Blue Jays bring in Jimmy Garcia, who looked like the same Jimmy Garcia we saw over the weekend. Having trouble finding the plate, saw allowing hits, leaving things over, gives up 3 earned runs really quickly, only records the 1 out on 1 hit somehow. And then, okay, great. We're about to lose this, or it's tied, I think, at the time. Jeff Hoffman comes in. Jeff Hoffman has been lights out. Even after giving 3 earned runs up yesterday, he still has a 2.7 ERA. But 2 home runs, nearly back to back. One from Yohan Moncada, that was his first of the season, and then another to Jo Adell. It just felt like it escalated quickly. It doesn't even put this into time, space, anything, because this happened in the course of like minutes. All of a sudden, the Blue Jays are now losing 8-3, and it was just like, what the heck happened? If you looked away for a minute and came back to this game, I don't even want to know what to imagine what your mindset would be, because that's exactly the horribleness to how fast this quickly turned around. His bullpen's overworked. Somebody like Urena obviously does help that equation if he does anything like he did yesterday. They are so desperately in need of watching somebody eat some innings out of the starting rotation, and hopefully they get a chance to do that when we do our preview here for a minute for Game 2 in Anaheim. Like I said, I did want to talk and focus on George Springer. He's been our most consistent hitter when you look at all things concerned. You do see Vladdy and Bo Bichette starting to heat up a little bit. If Santander is going to keep hitting like he did last night, that works a lot too, but he's still batting $180. Outside of the home runs, Dalton Varsho is really still struggling at the plate after just making his, season debut last week. There's a lot that needs to happen on this team, a lot. And Springer has been at least a consistent, force in this lineup. He's batting 316. He had another home run last night. Like I mentioned, that was his fourth of the season off a very good Ty Anderson. Um, I just want to give credit where credit is due because Springer has found a way to tap into the fountain of youth here and become one of the most consistent Blue Jays and actually one of the better right fielders in baseball at the moment. Saw power ranking for right fielders and he was actually number like 6, 7 or something like that the other day. I was very surprised, but that is still major credit to him to do what he's done this year, turn his script around of especially his spring training. So let's move on. Tonight, the Blue Jays will be once again in Anaheim, and they have Jose Barrios on the mound, who is hoping to continue up the success that he's been having. And the Blue Jays are going to be facing a very familiar face, and hopefully try to keep a straight face because he's one of the funnier people that apparently that they have had in the Blue Jays locker room over the last few years, and that is Yusei Kikuchi. 33 strikeouts for him so far this year, a 4.21 ERA. Has not somehow managed to win a game this year yet, regardless of the fact that he has been pitching pretty decent. So it'll be good to see him. I don't want to see him beat us up too bad. Hopefully they can find something to him. But obviously, with him being a Blue Jay the last few years, there's not too many Blue Jays that have had a chance to face Jose Barrios. Anthony Santander is the only real exception to that. He's got 3 RBIs, 1 home run, and 19 at bats. He's batting 263 against Yusei Kikuchi. On the other side of the ball, some reason Yoan Moncada loves seeing Jose Barrios. So hopefully Barrios can finally solve the puzzle that is Yoan Moncada. So that'll be the fun, hopefully, to this evening's game at 9:30 p.m. So make sure you set those clocks and stay up late if you want to see the Blue Jays tonight. So outside of that, Blue Jays fans, make sure you tune in tonight for what is basically another group therapy session on the Jaybird Watching podcast. My buddy Scott Belford of the Walk Off podcast will be joining us at 8 p.m. Eastern time on live stream. So make sure you head over to at Birdwatching GC on all of your social media stuff and join us for the conversation. The Jaybird Watching podcast is here to be the live stream portion to the show. So make sure you join in and have fun with us, and we will enjoy as much as we can and possibly can. Worst case scenario, I give you a place to vent. So, on that, Blue Jays fans, thank you for turning in for Jay's latest. Hit those like, share, subscribe buttons, and we will see you tomorrow. Cheers.